Welcome to Bag, the series where I am beating all Game Boy Advance games. It is time to dust off that furry suit because today we are playing The Wild. Developed by Climax Studios and released in 2006, 2 years after the DS was released by the way, is The Wild, a game based off of the Disney movie The Wild, that I've never heard of and you probably haven't either. Starting off this game, we have no other choice than to do the tutorial, which I think is an interesting design choice. This game also has a lot of dialogue, but I'm going to keep it all in and just fast forward it. So if you really want to see the actual story and all of the cutscenes, you're able to do so by just pausing and reading. The story starts off in the zoo where all the animals gather around to tell the story of where they've been the last few days. After getting through the cutscene, we select tutorial stage 1 and we get another cutscene where the koala bear tells us he's going to teach us the basics. And basics they are. It says press A to jump, press L to shove, press B to attack, jump while dodging to jump over bigger gaps, and to press R to roar to kill enemies. And if you thought we're done, well, not really. Next comes the tutorial level 2. Now the koala says that he wants to teach us his kung fu moves. Now we get this entirely different perspective where we press down on the D-pad to duck, up on the D-pad to jump, A to swipe, and B to kick. And then we're told to put all of our skills together. If you thought the tutorials were over, well, we're just getting started. Next, we have to learn Benny the Squirrel's moveset. Benny the Squirrel also has the ability to jump, swing on objects, climb on trees, and swing on objects faster. And with that out of the way, we have another tutorial. This time, we get to learn Benny's special moves. The first special move that Benny has is literally don't get hit by enemies. The second one is collecting acorns and shooting them. The third one is collecting a turtle that will give you temporary immunity. And the last one is collecting a candy bracelet that will give you a speed boost. And with that, we finally complete the tutorials and we unlock the story mode. The story starts on the night of the turtle curling finals where Ryan caused a little incident with the gazelles and decides to leave the zoo. He gets trapped in a green container and the only ones know where the container is heading are the pigeons. And that's where the very first level begins. So the main story mode of this game is simply just a platformer. Find the end and you're done. Each main level has these koala bears that kind of point you in the direction that you're supposed to go, which I clearly ignored, and eventually you find this paw print which signifies the exit. Except in this first level, you actually need to do something else before the exit will open, and that is chasing the pigeon to the exit. So you can see here, when I touch him, he gets scared up into the tree, and you have to basically keep fighting him and scaring him until he reaches the paw print. And just like that, the first level is done. Starting chapter 1 level 2, the pigeon tells us the containers go to the stiff lady with thingies on her head, which I believe he means Hillary Clinton. How many people are gonna get that reference? Chapter 1 level 2 starts off with penguins just absolutely bullying and harassing you. This is where we can use our newfound knowledge, use the push/dodge button, and move this block of ice over so we can get up. I think it's also important to note that if you touch the water at any point, it's an instant death and you have to start the level all the way over from the beginning. I said if you touch the water at any point, if you touch the water at any point, you have to start over from the beginning. The end of the level is on top of this container truck, and we completed the first chapter. And this is the point where this game turns from this is kind of boring, whatever, into the most nightmarish bullshit game to ever exist, outside of SSX Tricky, of course. Yeah, your eyes did not deceive you. It says that you have to beat 12 challenges to unlock the next part of the story. So now you have to go back to the main menu and go select challenges that is located underneath the story button. The first set of challenges is for tutorial level 1, where you have to complete the level in a certain time limit, finish with 4 stakes, defeat 4 enemies, and find Ryan. So the first challenge is not too bad, it is pretty straightforward, and you can't really mess it up. One thing you'll also notice is that you do have a time limit for all of these challenges, which becomes a huge struggle later on in the game. So when you complete one of the challenges, it will show a gold icon in the top left corner, and then you just have to make your way to the end of the level. On these earlier levels, it's quite easy to get most, if not all, of the objectives in one go, but later on, you have to do multiple goes to actually do them. The next stage is tutorial 2, which is just surviving 3 waves of just this. Nothing but this. All you do is you sit here and you spam buttons until you're done all 3 waves. But you also can't get hit more than 3 times, and if you do, it just immediately stops and you have to start all over from the beginning. The next stage you play as a squirrel, you also have to beat it in a certain time limit, finish with 10 acorns, defeat 2 enemies, and find Nigel the koala bear. Now stop me if you've heard this before, but the next stage you have to beat it in a certain time limit, get 8 acorns, defeat 4 enemies, and find Nigel. Yes, so as you can see, this game is pretty much just the same shit over and 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 over. Oh cool, we unlocked the next chapter. Chapter 2 starts us in the garbage truck, sans Benny. The truck driver dumps us out when he realizes we are in the back, leaving us stranded in the city surrounded by hundreds of dogs. In this level as well, pretty much exactly that. You're in the city and you're surrounded by hundreds of dogs. The goal of this level is the same as most of the main story, and that is just to get to the end of the level without dying. My main issue with these levels are that they are so similar that it's super easy to get lost and not realize where you are. That especially becomes an issue later on when you have to do the challenges in a specific time limit. The story continues and the lion escapes down the sewer, and the squirrel says that he has street smarts and heads for the high ground. This level is essentially the squirrel's level of the city, which has a lot of these posts that you spin on, black cats that hurt you, these rails that have electricity running through them, and also these spikes. The one thing that doesn't make sense to me is it said that you have to head for high ground, but the end of the level is literally on the ground. The next level introduces these window washer platforms and birds that can kill you. And at least this time, the exit is actually on the rooftops, unlike the previous level. In the next cutscene, they absolutely get clowned on by Ryan and make up a bunch of stories on why they went down the sewers. And speaking of sewers, that's where we go next. And this is when the game just completely falls apart for me. So as you can see here, one of the annoying things is you don't know what's below you, so when you drop down, you get attacked by something, and then you die and start all over. And this is also why this game drives me absolutely bonkers. You're gonna see that it looks like I went back to the exact same area, but I'm not. I'm in a completely different area. These levels look so identical, it is impossible to try to find your way around them. So it's a good thing we don't have any timed challenges coming up, right? Wait, is this not the exact same? Is this not what I just did? No, it's not. This is a new level that looks exactly the same as the previous level. Is this not what I just literally just did? Dude, I'm literally repeating myself more than these levels do. The story continues and we talk about how the gators we've already fought are small fries compared to the great albino alligator, who is essentially just the world's worst boss. So the way that you beat this boss is he comes out of these tubes, and if he's on the higher tubes, you punch him, and if he's in the lower tubes, you kick him. However, you only have about 3.6 nanoseconds to react to the tube that he's in, otherwise he will bite you. And if he bites you 3 times, it is game over. He'll also every once in a while cross over, you have to duck to avoid him, and if you stand up a little bit too quickly, he will smack you with his tail. I think the worst part about this is the fact that for some reason, it just goes on forever and ever and ever. It is mind-blowing. I don't know why this boss is so long, but this is also nothing compared to later on. But we did it, and our prize is more challenges. But at least they are not different at all. The exact same shit. But as you can see with these challenges, it is actually impossible to do them all in one run, meaning you're going to have to do at least multiple, usually 4, simply because you can't get 50 acorns and beat it within the time limit. You also can't get 50 acorns and then use the 50 acorns to defeat the 10 enemies. So pretty much it's a guarantee to have to replay these levels over and over and over and over. And to make matters worse, when you start playing the levels that are super similar and easy to get lost in, you have to play them over and over and over again to just figure out where the objectives even are to even attempt the challenges. Oh yeah, I forgot. Even if it was possible to do all the challenges at once, it's not, because you have a time limit. So one thing that you are able to do is quit and go play a different challenge, because you don't need to do all of them to unlock the next chapter, at least not at the beginning of the game. But that's also just delaying the inevitable. So this is a sad decision that I have to make. I spent hours and hours and hours playing this game, going painstakingly through every challenge, every level to bring you this video. However, it's so much of the same thing over and over again. It's quite literally the exact same levels that are in the story, just with random objectives scattered around. In fact, it's not even random objectives, they are the same 4 objectives. So in order to keep this video quite a bit shorter, I'm going to cut out a lot of this gameplay, which is just really sad, but you're really not gonna miss anything. So I guess ripperoni to my time, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. I think this part's really sad. In this playthrough, I found Ryan by accident. I ended up dying, so I didn't finish that challenge. And then I didn't remember how to get to Ryan again. Since the level looks so freaking similar, it took me over an hour to find him again. Eventually I got so tired doing the same thing over and over again, I took a really long break and reinstalled the operating system on my computer. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully everything's fine. I've reinstalled my computer, so hopefully all the settings are okay. So yeah, it turns out the settings were not okay and my OBS was not locally recording. So for a very short period of time here, you're going to have lower resolution quality and no game audio. I noticed that in the last like few streams, I've been like pretty damn negative when it comes to playing games, screaming a lot, swearing a lot, just being overall like really negative. I'll probably still scream and swear, but and probably still be negative, but I'm going to attempt to be less of those things. So for those who have seen my SSX trigger video, that will make perfect sense. If you've not, well, I mean, you should probably go watch it, but just be warned. I also figured out this new tactic that helped me relieve some stress. If I can like rub my... okay, moving on. Who the hell is editing this? This is hard. I'm like rubbing... Oh, it didn't work anyway. And that's the end of the video. Bye. Oh shit. Oh, what I was doing was like rubbing my hands like this back and forth on the A-B buttons. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try something. Oh my god, I'm gonna try something. I got this keyboard. It came with this. They're like buttons, okay? As you can see, it's zip tied still. Like I've not even used it. So this keyboard, it comes with like these weird ports on the front. So you plug this like, audio jack looking thing into the keyboard. Actually, oh, I can actually show you the keyboard. I can just unplug it. It's this keyboard, okay? It's like a retro looking keyboard. It's really cool. It has like these ports here. I don't know how it works. Never used it, but you plug this into one of the ports. Okay. Okay. All right. Cracking my knuckles and everything. This is serious business here. Okay, guys. This is our setup. It's probably going to go very poorly, and you're going to hear a lot of clicking. I'm going to spam these. They're going to make a loud noise, so excuse me for that. That will punch and kick. And then I'm going to use the left and right keys to go left and right. Oh. Oh no. Wait, can I just spam them both like this? I don't know if they're both registering. Guess we'll find out. Okay, they're not. Shit. Shit. Okay, well, you know what I can also do? You notice on this keyboard, there's these 2 buttons here. These also, I believe, correspond with these 2 buttons. So I don't really need these big ass loud things. This is our new tactic. We're gonna press the AB button. Oh, AB buttons on my keyboard. Dude, I knew there was a freaking reason for these buttons. Wait, something's... Oh shit, sorry. Something is coming off these keys. I want to start over. Wait, why can't I not escape? Wait, what's happening? Oh no. Okay, that's fine. Dude, this keyboard is freaking poggers. I mean, okay, honestly, I'm just realizing I could have just pressed Z and X because it's no different than pressing these 2 buttons. But this is cooler, guys. So after trying these challenges for a super long time, I came to this conclusion that if I just use my keyboard, I can spam the keys, which makes the game a lot easier. Except it kind of doesn't. With me spamming these keys like my life depends on it, I still could not get gold. It makes me wonder, how is this game even possible for, first of all, younger children, but also on the original Game Boy hardware? Eventually, we completed enough challenges to unlock Chapter 3. Ryan gives us some attitude, acting like we were the ones who got him into this mess in the first place, while the lion gets to the docks right as Ryan's container is being loaded onto the ship, and the squirrel climbs a skyscraper that is looking over all of it. Squirrel's Canadian. I actually really didn't mind this level too much. I think it's because it has enough things that differentiate it between other parts of the level, so you don't get lost as easy. I also think the aesthetics is pretty cool, and I like the new crabs. I also do think that it's funny that this level ends with you standing on a bird, because then the beginning of the next level is you actually on the birds, which is actually kind of surprising because it really feels like they didn't put much thought into this game, but that seemed pretty thoughtful. In this cutscene, the koala is bragging how he commandeered a vessel and took to the waves in pursuit of Ryan's ship, which apparently he was heading in the wrong direction, but no worries, the squirrel was riding geese and heading in the correct direction. This next level is pretty easy. All you have to do is reach the front of the geese without falling off or getting killed by these other birds. You're not part of this flock. Get the flock out of here. Thanks to the squirrel and the geese, they were able to locate Ryan's boat, where they found Ryan surrounded by panicking animals. This next level is just a huge clusterfuck. It reminds me of like when a game corrupts itself and it places textures and stuff in the wrong spots. It gets so weird that the previous level on the ship seemed to be really well done, and then this one just seems like a literal corrupted Game Boy cartridge. But at least the level was short and didn't last long. What the hell is that? Oh, they're birds. Ew. What is blowing up so big? It looks like they're like a big ass tarantula thing. Eventually we find Ryan and he's being hounded by a mob of vultures while the others get rounded up by wildebeests. The next level is unfortunately another one of those button mashers, but thankfully somehow this one is not as hard as the previous one. And with all that, we are back at doing the challenges again. But at least I stayed calm and rational. It's gonna be the same shit. Oh, collect this many acorns. Oh, collect this many, kill this many enemies. Oh, fucking do it in fucking 13 milliseconds. Oh, fucking find Ryan and Nigel. I then decided to look online to see if anyone wrote a review on this game. But Game FAQs has literally, there's nothing on it. Nothing at all. There's no Q&A. There's no review. There's literally, oh, actually, my bad. There's one review. I'm gonna bookmark this and I'm gonna put it in the edit. It says, a horrible game nobody should buy. I'm gonna read it. I remember watching this movie and thought it was pretty decent. Then I got the game on Game Boy and it all went downhill from there. This is just utterly disgusting. I can't bear to even look at this game today. Story is a 5 out of 10. Probably the shining moment of this game, so the main character, Samson, has to save his son, Ryan, after he got shipped into the wild. Out of the, I gotta increase the font size, I'm old. Out of the zoo safe. However, it should be no problem for the mighty Samson. Just kidding, later in the movie, did not even get that far enough into the game, it turns out to be a liar and a scaredy cat. Gameplay, 1 out of 10. This is the most frustrating games on the Game Boy I have ever played. I cannot even walk one step without being hit. Monkeys throw stuff from the trees, which you are forced to climb, but you cannot even pass them. What is the point? You can daze the enemies by roaring, important in the movie, but you have to charge up, and by the time you are hit, over and over again. You also play as a squirrel who can throw nuts, but vines on trees will hit you if you think you need to jump far enough. Then there's the water. If you fall in, automatic death. You're getting pelted from both sides and have to jump. Then you get hit midair and fall into the water. Must start all over. Graphics, 3 out of 10. Whatever. Sound. The most annoying music ever. It sounds like a circus rather than a rescue mission. The music goes on and on. The sound of jumping will annoy you because that's half the game. Jumping from tree to tree, hitting spiky vines. Playability. The reason there's no replayability, as the title, is because I got bored right at the first mission. The game is very frustrating. It should never be considered as a game. It is horrible. If you like the movie, do not try the game. It will ruin for you and you'll never look at it again. The best part about this is like I sit here and I scream and I cry and I just want to die. And then I'm validated because I saw one person reviewed this in 2011. 64 Star Child on February 28th, 2011. And they're like, yeah, game's just horrible. It's hard, it's horrible, it's shit. And it's so validating because I've played so many of these games so far, like this is my 8th or 9th game, I don't know, whatever. I sit here and I feel like I'm just being really critical and really harsh on these games. Then I read this review, and I go, maybe I'm not. Maybe this just proves that all I'm doing is just being honest. That maybe my reviews and my point of view and all that stuff about these games are pretty accurate. And people should 100% believe me and take everything I say 100% as is, forget salt. Why does this page say that the length of this game is 13 hours long? What? Then this website, okay guys, people need to figure out life. The one website said that this game is 13 hours long. This website says, when focused on the main objectives, The Wild is about 30 minutes in length. You're likely to spend around 1 hour to obtain 100% completion. How many levels does The Wild GBA have? The Wild features 8... ... Huh? 8 what? Chapters? What do you... 8 what? Let me ask Duck AI. They're probably not going to give me an accurate answer, but whatever. 10 No. So after getting some horrible news about the chapters, well, it doesn't really stop there. And now we have to defeat 15 enemies. Everything working? Yeah, okay. Is everything... Oh no, it didn't start recording. Oh no. Oh, that's okay, hold on. I need to fix that. That's really not great. That's really not great. So thankfully I actually stream everything that I do, so I was able to download the VOD from Twitch, and that's the only reason that you're seeing this footage. But I have had it where Twitch for some reason just deletes my VOD, so I was really scared that I was not going to be able to recover these last couple of hours of footage. But unfortunately for you guys, I was able to, so you got to see all of my rants. Also, this is the exact time that it rolled over to 24 hours of playtime, which ended up messing up my timer. Oh, my total playtime reset somehow. Wait, is it because it's not set to days? Either way, I fixed it, and now you get to look at that really long number. Now I just need to not fall. Oh my god! Now I just need to not make a million billion followers and dollars and everything. Funny how that works. So in this later challenge, where you still have to find the stakes and kill all the enemies, this level pulled off something that has never happened before, and I think it's kind of ridiculous. They started hiding the stakes in the bushes, but not just the stakes, they also started hiding the vultures there too. Considering this level has about 1.5 trillion, I might have miscounted a couple there, bushes, I don't really appreciate the fact that they did that. Also the fact that it took me so long to figure that out, it just really turned this grindy ass game into an even worse grindy ass game, because you had to check every single bush, memorize where they were in order to beat it in the time limit. And then this happened, which I am still upset about. Like, can someone explain to me how the hell that wasn't a proper jump? Okay, but honestly, I don't understand how the game decided that this wasn't a proper jump. I just need to take a break. I just start inhaling the water and drowning myself. I then hit my 57th breaking point. Okay, like I think I've been pretty good with the raging so far. So this is what I'm gonna say. Whoever developed this game, any developers that worked in this game, you should... I then went on a really long rant about if you're a developer that worked on this game, you shouldn't be proud of it, which is a little harsh, and I just cut out completely. No, f you little toe muncher. Eventually, I beat enough of the challenges and unlocked chapter 4. Ryan then brags about showing those vultures, and the wildebeests make sure to knock them down a peg. These next levels for Benny the Squirrel involve these weird looking monkeys as well as beehives. You're also in this sort of cliffside, and other than that, it's a pretty basic level. Benny then saves the day again, and Samson loses Ryan once again. But thanks to the chameleons, we're able to get back on the right track. The next level introduced us to these wildebeests, and the ones that are gray you can only get rid of by dodging. There are also these purple ones, but you can just get rid of them by doing your attack. I also thought it was kind of interesting that this level goes from a grassy land and transitions into this more rocky lava area. After completing that level, we are now going into the wildebeest den. I also like how it gives this little tip about if you find chameleons, you can use them to become invisible to enemies for a while. But I actually only ever saw one on my entire playthrough, and I didn't even need to get it because it wasn't required. So I'm really not sure why people would go out of their way to try to find them when you don't even need them. The next level is inside the wildebeest's den. It features a bunch of lava, these geysers, as well as these dangerous falling stalactites. We then get another cutscene that says while the squirrel was busy freeing everyone else, the lion, Samson, started attacking the angriest, toughest wildebeest because he was about to make Ryan into lion pie. This next level with Samson the lion is very similar to the first level with Benny the squirrel. We have falling stalactites, and we also have these geysers. We then have this awesome looking cutscene that transitions into this cheesy looking kung fu boss. Final boss, I might add. Welcome to the final boss of the game. It's very similar to the rest of the game, except it's just 37 hours long. So pretty much all you do is kick and punch left or right, and sometimes the wildebeest will do a back kick and you just have to duck to avoid it. Oh yeah, and sometimes he'll just jump over your head as well. This has got to win the award for the most laziest, boring boss, final boss of any game to ever exist ever in the entire universe. It is legitimately 5 minutes and 10 seconds of nothing but spamming a button and just waiting. I'm going to include the entirety of the boss fight and just speed it up so you can see it all, and it's, well, I was gonna say glory, but it's definitely not glorious. And with that, we can confirm that this game has 4 chapters. So I don't know where everyone is getting all of these other different numbers from. It has 4 chapters. And with this final cutscene and the credits rolling right after, that marks another game completed. See this list here? See this list right here? Yeah. Ah, crap, sorry, I ran out of storage space on my computer. Oh my god, 4.5 goddamn hours. Oh my god, got freaking carpal tunnel on all 17 of my goddamn wrist bones. But we did it. So now it's time to move on to the rating. Obviously, my enjoyability was very low. And the way that the game was laid out, it really felt like they made a story. They realized that it is extremely short. So they decided to pad it by forcing you to do the challenges to unlock more of the story. The only reason that I feel that way is because it's weird that the story and the challenges are on separate tabs on the home screen. I could be completely wrong, that's just my theory, but either way, it is a horribly padded game that is so unbelievably repetitive and boring. The controls aren't great. There are a few times where they're unresponsive or they just don't feel the greatest, but they're also not the worst, so I'm going to give that a 4 to 10. So to me, the graphics in some of the levels look really well done. Also, in some of the levels, the parallaxing on the backgrounds look really well done. But then there are also other levels, like the one I thought was like a Game Boy Advance corrupt cartridge level, which just look horrible. Also, I really find that the animations on the main characters are not really well done at all. So because of that, I'm going to split it right down the middle and give it a 5. Some of the sound effects are okay-ish, but most of them are just not that great. They're the type of sound effect that is okay for a little bit, but then eventually you start picking up on it and it starts eating away at you. They don't really blend that well into the background, and they're definitely not satisfying at all. I actually surprisingly found the music to be pretty just borderline average. There are definitely some that were more annoying than others, but I think they kind of balanced each other out, and the game itself was more frustrating than anything, so I didn't really notice the music that much. Which brings our average to 3.8 out of 10. And with the rating out of the way, let's move on to pick our next game. I'll tell you right now, I was so sick of playing these horrible games that I got a game here, decided it didn't look that interesting to me, so I decided to re-roll. Before I agreed to this game, remember, I get 1 reroll. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look at screenshots. I want to respin, but whatever it lands on, I have to do. I'm going to respin. So we're not going to remove it. Again, I get whatever this, I have to do what this lands on. So we'll see you in the next video where we play X versus Sever.